Before you listen to this and think that I've completely lost my mind, I promise you I've never felt more clear, which is exactly what somebody who lost their mind would say. Anyway, I've spent so long trying to figure out what my purpose is in life. Like, what is my career? What am I supposed to be doing? Now, stick with me. One night, many years ago, my parents got all liquored up and had a really wild night, and they were in their 40s, and surprise, I came along. Like, they didn't even think they can get pregnant at the time, right? And I've always joked my whole life that I am like the best accident they ever had. But it wasn't until recently, I had an epiphany and I realized not only am I not an accident, but like I am so intentionally put here. So my whole life I've been really good at entertaining, dancing, singing, making people laugh, right? That was always my thing. And I never knew what I wanted to do. I just knew I wanted to help people. And I always did that through humor. When I was a kid, I used to tell people I wanted to be a volunteer when I grew up. But I never knew how to like hone in on that. So life is great, life is fine. And then I go through a lot in my 20s, which like really, really broke me. I mean, I was at the lowest of the lows. I had no job anymore. I had no money. I couldn't pick myself up off the floor. I mean, screaming, crying on the floor, like, why God me? Or why not me? And if you're like, girl, what the fuck are you talking about? And you're new here, just backstory. I went on this spiritual journey when I came across the book, The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. I listened to it. I had previously read it or listened to it on the audiobook. I think it was on Spotify like years prior, but I didn't need it at the time. So this was when I needed it and it really hit me and it began my spiritual journey. Now, timeline's important here because I started to open myself up to it, like very, very slowly because I was super skeptical. I'm like, this shit's not gonna work, whatever. Little by little, I started believing more and more and more. 4 years ago is when I began that. 4 years, okay? Ever since I started that, I've been putting the work in every day. I've been actively working on myself, trying to change my mindset, and very slowly but surely over time, I started opening myself up to it because it's not gonna work unless you're open to it. So again, this is not for everybody, as I always say. And this is where it gets frustrating because I know people expect results overnight or in a few weeks or in a few months. And it took me 4 years to go through this process. A process in which I learned to stop looking for answers, to stop worrying, to stop wondering what's coming next, when is it coming, and just literally fully 100% trusting the process. And that's a key part because if you don't fully trust the process, it's not gonna work, right? So I finally hit full-blown delulu status. So when I started making videos on here, it was just for fun and I was trying to make people laugh. And then I realized I was healing people through making them laugh and it was also healing me. But it wasn't until people started coming up to me in the grocery stores and stuff like that and literally like breaking into tears and saying, your words have helped me so much. And I realized I can entertain people in many different ways all day long and I can heal you through that. But had I not gone through everything I went through, I wouldn't have the ability to heal people in other ways, like with inspiration and motivation, because I have the experience. And no, I'm not talking like certified fucking experience. I'm talking like I've been through some shit, right? So I can relate to people and help them through that. And I realized like making people laugh is one thing, but to be able to inspire and motivate people on that level, that's fucking powerful. Especially in a world like right now where there's so many people who are so sad, so depressed, so lost, looking for a glimmer of hope or healing. So I clicked that everything I went through that used to have me crying on the floor screaming, why God, why, was all for a bigger purpose. And then I'm scrolling last night and I see this video of a girl and her account is Sarah Moody Official. And she was talking about where your Leo placement is, like what house it is in, and that basically explains your purpose. And mine's in the 8th house. I looked it up and she said, with Leo being in my 8th house, she said basically it means that I'm meant to be a guide or a mentor and shine bright light onto the darkest parts of humanity and inspire others to find optimism. And while I'm sure there's like a lot more to that, it all boiled down to me realizing like more than ever, okay, I am literally meant to be a bright light in this world and help people out of the darkness. And that's whether I make you laugh or feel good about yourself or feel motivated or inspired or something, like everything I do is with good intention and is basically to make you feel good. My husband always says I'm the angel on earth. But the point is, had I not gone through everything that I went through, I wouldn't be strong enough and I wouldn't have found my confidence and I wouldn't have all of that under my belt to just like help people in a different way, arguably more powerful way. So ever since I had a viral video about my manifestation journey, which I believe was around a year ago, I have had an influx of messages coming in from people looking for help, and they still come in to this day. And I just feel like I've been ignoring the signs because I'm like, oh no, I'm the funny girl. I'm the girl that makes people laugh. I gotta stay in my lane, but like, why can't I do both if I have the ability to? I even love helping people with relationships. Like I want people to make things work. I want people to live the happiest, best life that they can because it is not a long time that we're here. And I feel like all along my purpose was literally sitting right in front of me, but I was just so stuck on looking for something concrete and simplified. Like, oh, you are meant to be a doctor or a teacher or a fucking zoologist or something that would make me feel like I'm really doing something credible with my life. But instead, I've spent the last 4 years working on myself, healing myself, and becoming the best version of myself that I can. And I work actively at it every single day in order to help others. And I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I'm some superhuman who doesn't have days or doesn't have moments, because I do. Because here's the thing, every single day, there is going to be something that is trying to keep you from being the best version of yourself. Something that is trying to keep you from being happy. whether that be comparing yourself to others or thinking you're not good enough or focusing on your imperfections so you can't see your progress. There's something against you every day that does not want you to succeed. And the whole point of it is to try to break past that. The whole purpose of life is to live your life. And I'm talking focusing on the simple moments. Last night I had a little cup of blueberries and I thought it was the cutest thing in the world. And I stopped and I looked at it and I said, wow, how lucky am I? I get to walk upstairs. I get to go into a bed and go to sleep. I get to enjoy a cute little cup of blueberries. But the thing is like we are so filled with so much fog. We're worried about yesterday, what we said, tomorrow, the future, what's gonna happen. What's the schedule tomorrow? Am I gonna make it on time? Rush, rush, rush. There's so much up here that we can't focus on little fucking moments. I hang sun catchers in my windows and they make rainbows in my house and it makes me smile all day long. Little glimmers. And these may be really small wins, but if you think about it in the grand scheme of things, when you have a day and there's so much negativity that's trying to affect you, all of those little positives add up. When you can really focus on being present in the moment and take a second and smile and say, how lucky am I? How grateful am I? How blessed am I? To be able to go from what am I doing with my life, I'm just making these silly videos every day, to understanding I get to make people laugh every day. I get to make people feel good every day. Like before you guys call in a wellness check on me, isn't that fucking beautiful? When you actively try to focus on little things every single day that make you feel differently, little by little, things will be different. And again, I don't have it all figured out. None of us do, right? We are all a work in progress and we always will be a work in progress, but it's the point of when things don't go your way and when you don't see it working right away that you don't give up. And I'm sorry this was so long. I could literally talk about this all day and not to sound like the cheesiest bitch in the world, but have a beautiful day and go find some glimmers.